Why didn't Juggernaut's helmet come off during the fight with Colossus? What's interesting about Kane Marco's appearance in X-Men: The Last Stand, and can we see his face in Deadpool 2? The answers to these and other intriguing questions about our old acquaintance Juggernaut in this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and enjoy watching. Never seek to meet your idol, because your idol might turn out to be quite a jerk. And like most jerks, he's tough and brings nothing but trouble. You'll understand this when you see your reflection in his helmet at the moment he's charging at you with an unyielding desire to kill, tear apart, or do something else. Yes, all of this is about our old acquaintance Kane Marco, aka Juggernaut, a character whose power in the original Marvel Comics universe has a magical, otherworldly nature. Once, the powerful artifact, the Ruby of Cyttorak, fell into the hands of Charles Xavier's stepbrother, that is, our hero, endowing him with the unstoppable, unyielding power of an ancient cosmic entity. Juggernaut's main trademark is the inexhaustible potential of kinetic energy during movement. Once he starts moving, nothing in the material world can stop him, only slow him down, as his power source is magical energy. Even in the alternative version of Juggernaut's origin in the comics, where he is a mutant from birth, the colossal enhancement of abilities by the ancient artifact is present. Unlike in film adaptations, where there are no hints of the otherworldly nature of his powers. In X-Men, The Last Stand, and Deadpool 2, the source of his powers is the old reliable X gene, but Juggernaut's abilities in X-Men: The Last Stand, as portrayed by Vinnie Jones, have much more in common with the original source. And of course, Juggernaut absolutely loves his helmet, which protects him almost from the only weakness: mental and telepathic attacks. He takes this matter so seriously that there have been cases where he wore a helmet under his helmet. In the comics, this helmet was securely fastened with the rest of his armor, meaning Juggernaut had the early Batman costume syndrome. To turn his head, he had to turn his entire torso. Now, taking a closer look at our old acquaintance in the adaptations. In X-Men: The Last Stand, Juggernaut is a prisoner in a mobile mutant prison, and in this trailer the sign warns to stay 90 meters away from him. He was supposed to be far from the most dangerous mutant. One cell, which seems to be empty, is marked as an extreme confinement cell with more than one high voltage warning. Interesting. Who was it meant for, especially against the backdrop of reckless disregard for safety regarding Mystique? But that's another story. Magneto and the team review the brief of the prisoner named Kane Marco, presented as Juggernaut. Inside the cell, he is shackled with high-tech restraints, not just physically restraining him, which would be nearly impossible in this case, but suppressing his mutant powers. Perhaps this is a reference to the comics' stasis chamber. The shackles here look very disparate, with his hands, feet, and torso held by technological stasis blocks, while his neck and shoulders are restrained by more primitive shackles. It seems that the government prison continually modified methods of restraining Juggernaut due to his repeated escapes, which is not surprising. At the same time, elements of the shackles and older versions of his cell are preserved. The collar around his neck, which remains with him throughout the film, is exactly the shackles once placed on him in prison. Looking at Juggernaut's worn helmet, we see it has an inner layer made of metal cable, probably. In this adaptation, the helmet does not serve the purpose of protecting against telepaths. Juggernaut removes it when Xavier is near him, and there are no familial ties between them here. They weren't even acquainted. The reason for using the helmet is simple. He told Pyro about it. It makes his face look better, protecting it from unnecessary scratches, especially when breaking through walls with his head. The most memorable visual feature of this Juggernaut is his dominant hands, especially powerful forearms, giving him a somewhat primate-like appearance. It's also worth noting the massive jaw, which was made up and enhanced for Vinnie Jones, especially when he is without the helmet. The first show of power in the film comes directly to Wolverine's groin, but Wolverine's steel balls are not the last thing that experienced Juggernaut's unstoppable running power. His resume states that any impulse he creates is unstoppable. That is, if he runs, smashing everything in his path, he can achieve a similar smashing effect with a quick step. Before Kitty dropped him to the ground, he was about to pass through walls Juggernaut style, essentially with a fast step. At this moment, it seems he accelerated, but in reality, he did not. Moreover, the effectiveness of breaking through walls does not depend on body positioning. Here, he makes an effort by smashing with his head, and here he doesn't, and creating roughly equal impulses to break through at different speeds. His weight cannot be a constant value. That is, some unconscious manipulation of energies must be part of this Juggernaut's abilities. There are rumors that a real monster lives in the icebox's basement, which is a heavy hint at further plot development. I wouldn't say that Russell and Juggernaut have much in common. Russell's words about the new cool and big friend annoy Juggernaut, but at a certain stage, Juggernaut needed someone's help just as much as Russell needed it throughout his life. Here, he is already Xavier's stepbrother, meaning he is around 80 years old, and he wears the helmet to protect against his mental influence, which, according to his words, made him an invalid. And he's damn healthy. This Juggernaut does not demonstrate the ability to create inexhaustible kinetic energy. He does not use his signature unstoppable run at all. His abilities here are more focused on incredible physical strength, durability, and recovery. Fingers return to functionality immediately, and his eye in a matter of minutes. Restraining the abilities of all prisoners in the prison is carried out in two ways. First are the collars, and second, according to the creator's comments, are these panels inside the cells. Therefore, inside Wade's cell, his disease worsens, while restraining Juggernaut occurs through three methods. Collar technology, which is maximized inside his cell, the same panels from which his transport box in the trailer was entirely made and was covered in blood. And the third method of restraint is the electromagnetic field inside the cell, which Russell had to release him from, and due to the presence of which, the prison administration apparently didn't remove Juggernaut's metal helmet, or rather they removed the helmet, then put on the prison robe, and then put the helmet back on. Juggernaut's helmet in this version looks diverse in that its main hemispherical part is made more crudely. It consists of two layers of metal, which is most clearly seen here, fastened together, including with screws and quality welds. The heaviest lower detachable part, which prevents the main helmet from falling off Juggernaut's head, has a more complex construction and execution. It is possible that it was made specifically in prison to prevent him from removing the helmet and bypassing one of the restraint systems from which he definitely escaped, as it had been involved in battles. How exactly this heavy part keeps the helmet on Juggernaut's head is a good question, but it holds it well. During the fight with Colossus, there were many moments when it should have come off. Only the weight of the massive part, especially around the back, makes it unviable in a confrontation with Colossus. The presence of straps under the clothing, no. More likely, the inner invisible construction of this heavy part is made so that it simply cannot be removed without unlocking these locks. And by the way, the metal of Juggernaut's helmet is very durable. Unlike Colossus, it did not acquire new dents. The weak spot in the helmet system is some fabric connecting its upper and lower parts, which allows Juggernaut to turn his head. Deadpool tried to attack this spot with his katanas, only angering Juggernaut and shifting his helmet to the side. And in these shots, we can see other parts of our old acquaintance's face, at least the nose. Thanks to my comrade who is better at Photoshop than I am, we can approximate a rough likeness of the face under the helmet. Maybe this version will be more to someone's liking. But in any case, Juggernaut's story is not about invincible strength. It's a story about the importance of adhering to social contract agreements. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, like, comment, don't forget to share this video with your friends.